you will see here this announcement from Hedera. What does it say? Well, basically speaking, they are excited to announce that Hedera has become a member of Australia's leading blockchain industry, which is called Blockchain AUS. They are the industry body of business implementing or evaluating blockchain or distributed ledger technology. Now, here's the thing, all right? When I see like guys that are part of a community like Quant Papa, follow them, that catches my radar because these researchers aren't going to waste their time with it. But at the same time, let's recognize some of these other ones. So they join Algo Foundation. How about this? Binance AUS, whether we're a fan of them or not. Coinbase, MasterCard, and other what? Leading institutions at the forefront of Web3. Let's take you to the article. It goes on to mention some of these key things, and I thought it was worth pointing out. So, taking you to here, you will see this basically mentioned right here, and it gets more into this. It talks about how Hedera obviously is open source, leaderless, proof of stake network with a robust ecosystem built around, or I should say, built by a global community and governed by a diverse council, right? The most impressive, if not the most impressive of all crypto, is definitely the Hedera Governing Council. So this membership announcement, I do feel as though it's a big deal, but why is it such a big deal? Well, if anything, I wanted to point out to you guys that, when we get into some of these things, you have to keep in mind some of the other things that obviously are worth pointing out. So this guy, Rob Allen, says, with so much Hedera project development going on in Australia, he feels as though he's delighted that Hedera, the open source enterprise grade layer 1 DLT, has joined the Blockchain Australia, the nation's industry body. A lot of people in the community are very excited about it and so on. But you have to keep in mind, some of these other community posts, and I don't necessarily show all the community posts because some people are very biased, but I would agree with some of this. He says, off the back of this news, this is from LITB, would be great to find about this whole thing of Australia Payments Plus use case being explored on Hedera when they are ready to be shared. I feel as though that's the next big thing that's going to come out. And that's why I wanted to bring it to you guys today. Because you want to know something? A whole country to be behind, for example, Hedera is worth pointing out. Always worth pointing out. And again, it's just a quick little update. And maybe in the future here soon, I'll get more into it. But if anything, I wanted to jump into this main key highlight, which is the next part of the coverage. And it's from this guy. You know who he is, Hbar Bull. He talks about this interview. It's about 6 minutes and 51 seconds, but it's really, really good. He says basically built on Hedera, which is Zenith Travel. If you don't know about Zenith Travel, they are an operating system for travel, uniting travel professionals, inventory providers, and consumers on one platform. When we talk about quant with the overledger, we're always talking about the Microsoft of crypto. A operating system for travel, that caught my interest, and built on Hedera. That sounds bullish, does it not? So when we get into this, and we'll play this here in a second, it mentions specifically about the whole thing of Zenith Travel becoming like basically the Shopify travel. All right, and build on Hedera? Cool. Because you want to know something? That sounds bullish to me. In this quote, we have major partners lined up that have a user base of 1 to 2 million closed user group communities. Now, you guys know me. This is not JASMY coverage, but even with JASMY, we pointed out the rate of adoption and getting into the whole concepts of targeted numbers. Give us examples of utility in motion. So 1 to 2 million closed user group communities. Again, that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? But you always love to see these examples of how we get to mass adoption. Travel in itself is a big industry. So I want to hear this, and I'm sure you guys will appreciate this as well. This is from Sachin Narode, if I'm pronouncing that right. He's the CEO and co-founder of Zenith and Zenith Travel, I should say. This interview, I already seen it earlier, reviewed it earlier. Very well done. There's a full version of this, but this gets into the juicy stuff, in my opinion. If Hedera Hbar is your thing, you definitely want to stick around and listen to this interview. Smash that like. I'll give you guys some closing commentary on what I feel is significant in that regard in conclusion here in the bit. Let's go ahead and play this. We'll be back in under 7 minutes. Here we go.
Sachin, I covered ZeniPay back in November of last year, but to get our audience up to speed, could you explain ZeniPay and how it leverages Hedera?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here, Brandon. I just want to go back to why ZeniPay is required in travel industry, and then explain you why it's important and why we are leveraging Hedera. Basically, we're solving the complex payment problems and the data problems in travel industry. Zenny is Shopify of travel, which allows anybody to launch their booking engine. So we allow every single travel resellers, event organizer, influencers to launch their own booking engine. What they do, they onboard users, influencers onboard their followers, and these guys go and make the bookings, travel bookings on those Zenny powered sites, fully white label, where all these transactions, we are the merchant of record. So to create a single source, we rely on a huge, so the number one, we're looking for a very trustworthy platform where all the parties involved in complex transaction, and we should be able to show them what are the transparent data has been moved from party A to B, how much commission is owed to who, and what are the cogs between the multiple counterparties, right? We basically embed the business rule directly into the contracts and keep the track of the entire amount owed to each party. So Hedera ecosystem allows that very reliably. We establish the trust by logging that data on Hedera mainnet. Instantaneous, it's cost effective, and also it helps us because the gas fees are pegged to the dollars. So we're not paying a variable gas fees. It's very expensive for travel industry to adopt and Web3 technology, which has a variable gas fee. Hedera was a great partner. It's a no-brainer.
That's certainly a problem we see across the board. It's not exclusive to travel. Of course, anybody who has these variable fees, it can make it hard to plan their business for the future. So the next thing I wanted to touch on is I noticed last week that your fungible token, Xbucks, was the most transacted token on Hedera. Can you explain why we're seeing such a ramp up in the use of your token?
Absolutely. So as we're bringing more and more people into our ecosystem, we create a wallet account for every single user who comes on our system, and we attach that wallet to it's already embedded in our onboarding process. We attach that wallet to the transaction or a travel booking or a cancellation modification, and also that same Xbox tokens are moved between the multiple counterparties. So huge influx in the ecosystem. We have a high volume of users who have associated Xbox accounts, wallets, who are mainly transacting within the ecosystem. That could be the major reason. We have recently onboarded around almost 150,000 users. We are hoping to have another 250,000 users in next 1 quarter, and who will be actively using these wallets to either make the travel booking or payment settlement or commission settlement. So yes, it's a very exciting thing for us. I'm glad we could contribute into Hedera's journey of many billion transactions, and we are there. We are in your books.
Well, we're certainly excited to see what you're doing, and this is music to our ears to have that kind of engagement and that kind of user base. So is there anything else that the community might be interested in that Zenith is working on at the moment?
Absolutely. I mean, in short term, our focus is going to be expanding the user base, because we have major partners who are lined up, who have a user base of maybe 1 million, 2 million closed user group communities. Once we start activating them, that means they are already onboarded with a Web3 ecosystem, which is currently kind of stagnant. There are early adopters and late adopters, but there is not much incoming traffic in Web3. So Zenny is allowing all the Web2 guys seamlessly come into the ecosystem and rip the benefit out of it. So expanding user base is our short-term focus, but we're building an amazing benefits to all these travel holders. We're planning to launch a travel reward loyalty program where every wallet holder will have a certain loyalty rewards, and they can spend it and shop it on the Zenny powered website, white label websites. We're also tokenizing the travel in future very soon. So for example, think of it, Brandon, you made a booking 4 Seasons New York. for the month of December, and you booked it for 3 nights. Let's say you made that booking, and your plans have changed, and you can't go anymore. But if you shop with the Zenny ecosystem and you have a wallet, and we can convert your booking into NFT, and now that becomes an asset, and maybe the price you booked for could be a lot cheaper, and now you can sell it at a very higher price, and that booking will automatically get modified. So we are the only, we're positioned so well to bring the disruption of Web3 into Web2 ecosystems. Most of the competitors or players who are talking about travel NFTs and all of that, either they're doing a digital images of the location, or something more on that space, not actual utility. What we're trying to do, and there are people who are trying to do the utility, but they're doing one hotel at a time. It will take so long for them to even get there, and nobody in Web2 is ready to learn and spend time and money to build the infrastructure required for all these new solutions, right? So we are basically at forefront. We are experimenting. It's going to be very exciting for the community to know that anybody who is a Hbar holder, a Hedera wallet holder, they will have an opportunity to participate in this economy. We're thrilled to bring all these pipelines to Hedera chain, and there are many exciting ideas which I do not want to share it right now, but there are more announcements coming up soon based on what I see. The current pipeline is pretty big.
I just had a conversation with Christian Hasker from Swirlds Labs, and he said that there's 3 main verticals that he's most excited about, that he sees the most traction right now, and that's refi, that was tradfi, and the third one was consumer engagement, and that's exactly what you're focused on. So I think you're in a really good space. Sachin, thanks for coming on today, and we're looking forward to watching Zenny progress.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me, Brandon.
We talked about Zenith Travel, okay? So at the end of the day, what's the significance of Zenith Travel's potential partnership with, closed user group communities of like basically 1 to 2 million users? Well, it boils down to 2 main factors. Listen to me on this. It's ready-made market. Yes, you heard me right. Ready-made market. These communities, if you weren't aware of it, represent a large pre-existing customer base for Zenith Travel's booking platform. And basically speaking, Zenith Travel can, in fact, tap into a pool of potential users who already trust the community platform. And it might be more likely to adopt the whole concept of travel or that solution offered with, for example, to have within that ecosystem. That's a win. This saves Zenith Travel the time and resources required to acquire new customers, of course, compared to just doing it from scratch. I like that. What about network effects? Well, in the travel industry, building trust and reputation, as we know, is crucial, absolutely crucial. Partnering with established communities leverages the existing trust those communities have, of course, built with their with their users. This can create a network effect where Zenith Travel benefits from the positive reputation of the community, further increasing adoption of their platform. It's a win for them. Now, what about the whole thing with Hedera, right? Well, for Zenith Travel and Hedera, this signifies a strong potential for growth. But how? Well, 2 main things to get into in that regard. Zenith Travel, with a large user base readily available, Zenith Travel can focus on the whole notion of refining their platform and services to cater to specific needs of these travel communities. This can lead to a more engaged user base and potentially higher booking volumes. And I like that term, higher booking volumes, because that being a win for them, as in Zenith Travel, is also a win for us. More volume for them also means more volume for us, because that means more utility being put into motion. Now, Hedera for a quick moment, right? A little bit more of the whole thing of, strong potential growth. For Hedera, the success of Zenith Travel on Hedera's platform showcases in itself the capabilities of Hedera Hashgraph for building scalable and secure applications. This can very well attract, of course, other businesses in the travel industry and other sectors to consider building on Hedera, as if they didn't have enough of them already considering it to begin with, further solidifying its position as a platform of decentralized applications. Now you have to keep in mind, overall, Zenitravel's potential partnerships position them to be a major player in the travel industry, and their use of Hedera's technology contributes to the validation and potential growth of course, both companies. Now, you guys know I cover a lot when it comes to JASMY, the concept of PDLs, Travala, Nippon Travel, and so on. You ever notice a common thing here? And that is that protection of data, or the data that's used, and the partnerships, especially when it comes to travel. Say what you want. There's something to be said about some of these key ones. This particular one, a travel operating system, and they want to get involved with Hedera or have it being built on Hedera. I think that's a big deal. Some of you guys ask what cold storage solution I use. I use this, and it is the Decent Wallet. All right. I also, of course, have a ledger like this. All right. You can get a discount basically from going into the affiliate link, which is in all the live video descriptions and recorded and so on. And for the yahoos that are out there, they're like, this is just a shield. And, we'll fix point this out. And it's a great point. Were you aware that you don't necessarily get a discount link just going straight to the site? No, you actually have to go through a platform like this. So how cool is that? I don't think anybody's complaining about that. But anyway, use the link, get a discount. There's another one here. If you're the type of person you want to get one for you and your significant other, you could get two of them. They actually have another promotion, which is this. And I think this is cool. You can get an all-in-one card wallet plus backup card package. Interesting. I thought that was cool. And again, one of the main key things I like about the Decent Wallet is not having to do the red tape of, jumping through all the hoops for XDC and the custom folder. I mean, Edward Vincent can vouch on that. Some of you guys can too as well in regards to Ledger. That was a pain in the butt. You don't have that problem. You literally open up your phone, it's on your app, track everything that's going on, right? And saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. You know the drill. Check it all out though if you wish to do so. It is truly the cold storage solution that I use for the most part. There's still some on Ledger that I kind of split it up on it and so on. So it is what it is. But if I have preference over one, I'm going with this one. A lot easier to use and so on. And some people, even to this day, still ask me which one I use.